when I was younger, I got permission to beat up this kid in school. Because I grew up doing martial arts. And my mom and dad were like, we'll pull you out of martial arts if you ever put your hands on somebody. And I was getting heavily bullied. One day, my dad came home when he found out, and he fucking lost it on my mom. He goes, somebody put his hands on my son, and you told him not to do anything? So he grabbed me, and he goes, you listen to me. He goes, if I find out another man put their hands on you and you didn't do anything, he goes, when you come home, I'm going to put my hands on you. And I was like, okay. Literally the next day, some kid named Zach started some shit, but now I have that like, oh, my dad gave me permission, I'm gonna start some shit now, right? So I started some shit, and he pushed me. I pushed him back, 7th grade, and he put me up against the wall, and I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm not even kidding, I remember this like it was yesterday. I was waiting patiently before I striked for this girl that I liked to come around, because I knew she was a little bit farther behind. I wanted her to see me knock him the fuck out. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting, and then so finally she pulls around the corner, and I hit him once, bop, and I'm going for the other one, and I look in his eyes, and it was fear, but it was a different type of fear. And it locked me up, and I never had another man look at me that way. And so I got scared of the feeling of me powering him. And so I held him, and then the aides were coming. So I held him, and something in my heart was like, do not touch this man again. And so I was like, okay. And then he hit me, boom. And I was like, don't touch him. Boom, again, don't touch him. And I was like, okay, don't let him, don't. Just take it. 2 years go by. And in my mind, I'm like, why the fuck did that happen? Like, why didn't I hit him? Always in my mind, why didn't I? 2 years go by. We're now in high school, and we get detention. But we've said hi to each other. We've moved on. We never, like, kept it, like, anger. We moved on. We're men, right? We were in detention. The teacher comes in, and she goes, guys, I got to go, and a family emergency happened. You guys could go. We're living right next to Desert Ridge, so we're like, why don't we just walk there and get food? We're walking there. I'm making him laugh, and he just starts choking up, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck, are you good? And he looks at me and he stops. He goes, dude, I have to apologize to you. And I go, why? He goes, and I'll never forget this, and I've told you this, and it fucked me up for the rest of my life. He goes, I put my hands on you because that's what I had in my home, and I thought it was okay. And so when I saw his eyes, I knew there was something more there, but all I kept picturing now is like, how many times did his dad come home and beat him that I could have given him hell here? So from that day, I promised myself, my demons are their demons. So when I look at my enemy, I'll look past their shoulders, and I'll never make that mistake again. If you've got on my bad side, it's because something you're dealing with you haven't overcome, and I'm not going to beat you up physically because you're already getting beat up spiritually. So I'm going to find out who your demon is, and I'm going to fuck him up, and I'm not going to put my hands on you. And so that's like changed my whole like my whole enemy thing.
What a story, man. First guy I got into a fight with was my best friend, and we got into a big fist fight, and he won the fight. We were 12, 13 years old at Wilson Junior High School. And then, you know, one day I go to his house, and his dad, right in front of us, multiple times, punched him in the face, and it was a very bad. I won't mention the guy's name because I posted his picture many times. I love this guy. I've cried a handful of times when I've given speeches to my sales guys. Most of the time, it's about this one guy. And on May 5th, 2005, this guy, took his life. He committed suicide. And I used to take him to Bible study, and I took him to a drug rehabilitation center in Tarzana. And in Tarzana, he went to the 14 days. It was $400 a day, et cetera, et cetera. And his challenge was Vicodin. It was very hard. I was driving a Diamond Bar when I got the call. I was in a black town car with another guy named Jim, an old friend of mine. I got this call from a guy named Artin who called me. I'm like, fuck. We were at Shakey's in Glendale off of Colorado when we went to the back, and he was taking the pills. I took the pills from him, me and another guy, and I said, dude, you ain't taking it. He's crying, saying, please, let me. I said, dude, I'm not giving it to you. Crying, saying, please, you don't know the past. I said, dude, I'm telling you, I'm not going to give it to you. And I found out who was the dentist who was selling the Vicodin to a kid who was selling it to him. Anyways, that's a whole different discussion that we had with the dentist and the kid. But yeah, man, life is very interesting how this works. These types of memories, they resonate. But I'll give you one other angle to take this for you to maybe get a better understanding on how I view this, because as a Christian man, I understand also, turn your cheek, Christian, all this up. Trust me, I've heard that message as well. Where we are right now with America, the mess that we have, right? It's a messy situation right now in America. I don't like what they're teaching in school. I don't like what's happening with fatherless homes. I don't like how many, in 1940, 4% of all pregnancies in America were to single mothers. In 1940, only 4% of pregnancies, babies that were born to a single mother. Today it's 40%. What do you mean? We went from 4% to 40%? What are you talking about? So what do we change? We're afraid to pray in school? For what? You want to take God out of school? Yeah, we want to take God out of school. What are you afraid of? You don't want God? You don't want favor? You don't want that? No. So you don't want to do, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America? No, I don't want to do that. No, because we're imposing stuff. So you replace what we were imposing with what you want to impose now, no problem. So now watch where I go with this thing here for you. So for me, I believe we need all different types of people in life, okay? There's a scene, I don't know what movie this is. Maybe it's American History X. Maybe it's another one where he talks about the sheepdog. We can Google this and see what movie it is, what the role of a sheepdog is. And they defend people who can't defend themselves. And that's kind of the role they play. And, God chooses certain people to be sheepdogs, and that's the role they got to play. Great. So how do we get here? Guy asked me a question, what do you think happened? I said, listen, let me tell you, 4 communities screwed up America. I give you 3 of the communities screwed up America. What is it? Number 1 is the do your thing libertarians. What do you mean? Well, I'm a libertarian a little bit myself, which is what? Hey guys, do your thing. Just do your thing, do your thing. But the do your thing libertarians allowed everybody to kind of do their thing, and now the people you allowed to do their thing are now trying to get your kids to do their thing. Oh, shit, you're right.
Mustard seed.
Wow, this took about 20 years. Yes. Because you kept saying, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing, to each his own, to each his own. So then the Christian side was what? The tolerant Christians. It's okay, let's be tolerant. I pray for 4 things: courage, wisdom, tolerance, understanding. I have a very hard time praying for tolerance. I have a hard time praying for tolerance the last 12 months. I've been praying for courage, wisdom, tolerance, understanding for 20 years. I cannot get myself, I'm praying, I go, God, I ask you to give me courage, wisdom, understanding. And I'm skipping tolerance. Why? Because there's a book I read recently that a friend of one of our executives in our company, Chris Hart, recommended. It's got to do with the topic of intolerance. Why we have to be intolerant. What do you mean we got to be intolerant? Isn't intolerance a bad word? Nope. We need more intolerance today. By who? By the people who are teaching the right principles to protect kids, family, household. How the hell do we go from 4% to 40%? My mother, when she was trying to raise me by herself, couldn't do anything to me. One day, I'm 13, 14 years old. She's hitting me. She's doing all. I said, you realize you just hurt your hand. What are you doing? You can't do anything to me, ma'am. Nothing. You can't touch me. You can't hurt me. It's over. I'm a big dude. Don't put you, and I put my hand behind my back because they keep hitting me. I'm not feeling nothing. Nothing. And I said, let me do that with my father. There's no way I could do that. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? His hand's heavy. I mean, like, hey, Dad, I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to do that. That part missing, my mom can't raise me by herself. She needs that man in the picture to put me in my place. I needed to be put in my place. Who did that to me? The military did. Drill Sergeant Pirtle, Drill Sergeant Green. They needed to put me in my place, and they did.